Welcome back to PI Time. This week we will be discussing life transformation, so let me ask you, have you ever wondered why some people seem to live fully, grow constantly, and handle life with ease while others feel stuck, stressed, or like life is just passing them by? The answer might lie in something you do every single day without even thinking. Humans are creatures of habit. From the moment we wake, the small actions we take, making coffee, brushing our teeth, checking our phones, shape the rhythm of our lives. These are not random. They are patterns etched into our minds by repetition. Habits aren't accidental. They are reinforced every time we act. Every repeated action strengthens neural pathways. Over time, these actions become automatic, effortless, part of who we are. This is why going to the gym can feel natural after years of training, while breaking harmful habits like smoking or mindless scrolling feels nearly impossible. The difference is not discipline alone, it's understanding how the brain learns, grows, and adapts. Habit is power, and it can be harnessed to achieve anything, from health and fitness to a richer, more fulfilling life. You've probably heard the widely circulated idea that it takes 30 days to form a new habit. While that number isn't magical, research actually suggests it can take anywhere from 18 to 254 days depending on the person and the behavior. It serves as a helpful psychological benchmark. The power of the 30-day challenge lies not in the exact timeline, but in its simplicity and structure. Committing to a behavior for a defined period reduces decision fatigue and helps you start without feeling overwhelmed by the long-term commitment. It transforms an abstract goal, I want to be healthier, into a concrete, time-bound promise, I'll walk 20 minutes every day for the next 30 days. 30 days still feels daunting, start even smaller. Enter the world of micro habits. Tiny, almost effortless actions that build momentum through consistency. The science behind microhabits is rooted in behavioral psychology. Small wins rewire the brain by reinforcing neural pathways associated with the behavior, making repetition easier over time. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, calls this the 2-minute rule. Scale down any habit so it takes less than 2 minutes to do. Want to floss every day? Start by flossing just one tooth. Want to write a book? Commit to writing one sentence daily. Want to get in shape? Begin with 20 push-ups or even just 5. The key isn't the volume, it's the consistency. These small victories build self-trust and create a psychological domino effect. Once you complete the tiny task, you'll often feel motivated to do more, but the habit is still counted as a success even if you stop there. To make habits stick, habit stacking is a powerful technique. Anchor your new behavior to an existing one. Our brains operate primarily on autopilot, following routines we've built over the years. By linking a new habit to a well-established one, you leverage that automaticity. For example, after I brush my teeth, I'll floss one tooth. After I pour my morning coffee, I'll write one sentence in my journal. After I finish my workout, I'll meditate for 1 minute. This method, popularized by behavioral scientists like B.J. Fogg, works because it uses existing cues, brushing teeth, drinking coffee, as triggers for the new behavior, reducing the need for willpower. Equally important is your environment. It silently shapes your behavior more than motivation ever will. If you want to break bad habits, like snacking late at night or mindlessly scrolling, redesign your surroundings to make those behaviors harder to do. Remove junk food from your kitchen counter. Charge your phone outside the bedroom. Use app blockers during work hours. Conversely, make positive habits easier by preparing your environment in advance. Lay out your workout clothes the night before, keep a water bottle on your desk, or place your journal and pen on your pillow each evening. As Charles Duhigg explains in The Power of Habit, routines thrive on cue, routine, reward. So tweak the cues. When multiple habits are intentionally linked, they form a keystone routine, a foundational sequence that supports broader life changes. For instance, a morning routine might look like: wake up, drink a glass of water, stretch for 5 minutes, meditate, journal. Each step flows naturally into the next, creating a cascade of positive momentum. Evening routines can be just as powerful. Shut down your laptop, tidy your workspace, reflect on the day, read 10 pages, turn off the lights. These frameworks don't just build habits, they build identity. Over time, you stop seeing yourself as someone trying to be healthy and start seeing yourself as a person who takes care of themselves. To prevent procrastination, implement implementation intentions, a strategy backed by decades of research. Instead of vaguely planning to exercise more, define precisely when and where the habit will happen. I will go for a 20-minute run every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right after I drop my kids at school. This specific if-then planning removes ambiguity and decision-making from the equation, making follow-through significantly more likely. The brain loves cues, sights, sounds, times, or rituals, and when it receives consistent ones, a habit becomes automatic. But here's a crucial nuance: don't let routines become prisons. While habits provide stability and efficiency, growth requires novelty, challenge, and exploration. A life built solely on routines risks stagnation. True fulfillment comes from balancing consistency with curiosity. Once a habit is solidified, experiment. Try new running routes, explore different journaling prompts, or take a dance class instead of your usual workout. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day, not to limit himself, but to conserve mental energy for creative exploration elsewhere. In the same way, well-designed habits free up cognitive space so you can take meaningful risks, learn new skills, and deepen relationships. Ultimately, habits are not about perfection, they're about progress. Miss a day? That's normal. The what the hell effect, where one slip leads to a full relapse, can be avoided by adopting a resilient mindset rather than a rigid one. What matters is your long-term trajectory, not daily stumbles. Use setbacks as data, not failure. Remember, small habits compound in powerful ways. Like interest in a savings account, their impact may be invisible at first, but over months and years they transform your health, productivity, and sense of self. Whether you start with one tooth, one sentence, or one push-up, the journey begins with a single deliberate step. Life is a paradox. We spend years chasing comfort, stability, security, the quiet joy of a good meal with loved ones. And yet, there's a calm ache that lingers when comfort arrives without challenge. A house filled with love and laughter can still feel like a cage if we stop reaching beyond its walls. The answer to life's enduring question, what gives life meaning, lies not in the absence of struggle, but in the interplay between comfort and growth, between the safety of home and the call of the unknown. Imagine a life where you've achieved it all: a fulfilling career, a family who adores you, a home brimming with warmth. By any measure, this is a good life. And yet, for many, this scenario carries an unspoken shadow. History's greatest thinkers, from Aristotle to modern psychologists, agree: comfort alone is a shallow well. Love, family, and career are cornerstones of human connection, but they are not sufficient foundations for meaning. Without purpose or challenge, even the most perfect circumstances risk becoming monotonous, like a symphony playing only a single note. This is why people who retire from high-impact careers often report a jarring sense of loss. Their identity was intertwined not just with their job, but with the growth and challenges it demanded. The human story mirrors the timeless hero's journey described by mythologist Joseph Campbell. The hero begins in the ordinary world, is called to adventure, faces trials, undergoes a transformation, and returns wiser. This isn't just a narrative device, it's a map of human potential. Self-actualization, the peak of Maslow's hierarchy, is not about passive fulfillment but active becoming. It's the relentless pursuit of growth. Learning a language at 60, creating art that shakes the status quo, or volunteering in a community in need. These acts are not mere hobbies. They are acts of evolution where we stretch beyond who we are to touch who we might become. Take the example of J.K. Rowling, who transformed rejection letters into a global literary phenomenon. Her journey, marked by poverty, loss, and relentless creativity, was grueling, yet it was the struggle itself that imbued her success with depth. Comfort might have kept her warm, but challenge made her story timeless. There is a danger in still water. Evolution has hardwired us to seek novelty. Stagnation triggers a primal restlessness. Once the basics of life are met, career, family, financial security, we risk entering what psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi calls the lukewarm zone, where life feels neither thrilling nor meaningful. This is the shadow of modern life, a comfort so complete it becomes a cage. Routines calcify into rituals of emptiness. The thrill of parenthood wanes into exhaustion. A once passionate career becomes a 9-to-5 treadmill. Without challenge, time itself feels like a leaky hourglass, its grains slipping away without leaving traces. Science reveals why this happens. Our brains are wired to crave challenge. When we learn, create, or persevere through obstacles, our brains release a trio of neurochemicals that fuel both body and mind. Dopamine, the reward of effort, norepinephrine, the focus of urgency, and BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which builds neural connections like a gardener tending a garden. These chemicals don't just make us feel good, they make us function better. Memories sharpen, creativity blooms, and even our immune system strengthen. Conversely, studies show that cognitive decline accelerates in those who stop seeking growth. The mind, like a muscle, atrophies without use. So, what is self-actualization if not the refusal to let life harden into routine? It is not a destination but a vertical climb, a continuous process of becoming. Peak is not a plateau but an ever-shifting summit. Think of life as a river. Its meaning is not in the stillness of the pool, but in the constant movement, the carving of new paths through the rock. To live fully, we must cultivate what poet Rainer Maria Rilke called the courage to grow. This means embracing discomfort as a teacher, viewing failure not as a dead end but as a detour to wisdom. It means choosing a life where challenges are not avoided but invited, whether by starting a side hustle, adopting a meditation practice, or advocating for a cause larger than oneself. In the end, meaning is not something we find, it's something we forge. It is the fire that sparks when purpose meets challenge, when the familiar dissolves to make way for the unknown. Life's richness lies not in the safety of the nest, but in the strength of the wings we build to leave it, and in the wisdom to return, changed but wiser. To grow is to resist the entropy of time. To strive is to defy the quiet decay of mediocrity. And in that striving, in that unyielding pursuit of becoming, we discover the most profound truth. Life's meaning is not given. It is earned, one challenge at a time. Transformation isn't a lightning strike. It's a symphony composed of intention, effort, and time. At its core lies a sequence of 5 interwoven steps: recognition, release, regeneration, reorientation, and repetition, each a vital note in the melody of growth. Together, they form a path to break free from stagnation and build a life rooted in purpose. Let's explore this journey with clarity, depth, and actionable insights. First step begins with turning inward. Recognition is the art of observing your inner world with the curiosity of a scientist and the compassion of a friend. Ask yourself, what patterns repeat like broken records? When do I feel most alive versus most depleted? Mind the patterns. Are you a chronic procrastinator? Does anxiety hijack your mornings? Use tools like journaling or apps, e.g., habit trackers, to map recurring thoughts, behaviors, or emotional triggers. For instance, tracking caffeine intake alongside anxiety spikes might reveal a physical route to mental stress. Embrace non-judgment. This isn't about self-blame but illumination. Imagine your mind as a garden. Weeding out dandelions, negative habits, starts by seeing them clearly. Mindfulness practices like the body scan meditation help anchor you in the present, making it easier to spot unconscious loops. The neuroscience angle. Studies show that mere awareness alters neural pathways. By identifying a fear of public speaking, for example, you begin to disentangle it from your identity, creating space for change. Once seen, the next step is to release what no longer serves your growth. This includes limiting beliefs. I'm not creative or success requires sacrifice or self-imposed chains. Trace these beliefs to their origin, a teacher's critique, a cultural myth, and question their validity. Emotional baggage. Forgiveness isn't about excusing harm but freeing yourself from resentment's grip. Consider writing a letter to someone who wounded you. You don't have to send it, to externalize and release old pain. Detox routines. Digitally, this might mean deleting apps that fuel comparison. Physically, it could involve donating items that symbolize past stagnation. The Japanese practice of kintsugi, repairing broken pottery with gold, reminds us that healing, not erasure, transforms what's broken. With the old cleared away, regeneration invites you to rebuild with intention. This is where growth becomes tangible. Nourish body and mind. Physical, strength training isn't just for muscles, it boosts confidence and discipline. A 2018 Harvard study found that regular exercise was associated with a 26% reduction in stress hormones. Mental. Replace mindless scrolling with learning. Apps like Duolingo or Coursera can turn daily commutes into opportunities for growth. Emotional. Schedule joy audits. Identify activities that spark delight, e.g., gardening, art, and make space for them. Micro practices. Small, consistent actions reshape your life. Meditate for 3 minutes daily. Start. Drink more water. Use a hydration app. Over time, these microsteps rewire your brain, as seen in neuroplasticity research by Dr. Sarah Lazar at Harvard, which shows meditation thickens the prefrontal cortex, linked to focus and self-awareness. Now comes reorientation, the moment your transformed self sets compass points for the future. Define core values. Are you driven by creativity, service, autonomy, or growth? Write out your top 5 values and ask, do my daily actions reflect these? Set North Star goals. These are aspirational yet actionable. Instead of be healthier, try join a yoga class twice weekly. Use the SMART framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Design your environment. Anchor new habits in your surroundings. Want to read more? Place a book on your coffee table. Prioritize focus. Create a workspace free from social media notifications. The 1% rule. Improve by just 1% daily and you'll be 37x better in a year. Compound growth. This applies to learning a language, fitness, or emotional resilience. Neural pathways. Neuroscientist Daniel Levitin explains that repetition strengthens myelin sheaths around neurons, making actions automatic. Think of it as paving a road. The more you travel it, the smoother it becomes. Resilience through ritual. Morning routines, e.g., gratitude journaling, stretching, and evening wind downs, create anchor points for consistency. The key is to pair new habits with existing ones. See, after brushing my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. Transformation isn't a single act, it's a lifelong dance with these 5 rhythms. Recognize, release, regenerate, reorient, repeat. Each cycle deepens your alignment with who you are becoming. Remember, the road to growth isn't about perfection but progress. Every step, no matter how small, is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your becoming. Now take a breath. Where do you begin? Too often, we are conditioned to see challenges as roadblocks, barriers standing between us and the life we desire. We flinch at discomfort, retreat from uncertainty, and idealize a life of ease. But actual growth doesn't bloom in comfort zones. It erupts in the friction of difficulty, in the quiet moments when we choose to lean in rather than pull away. Challenges are not obstacles. They are the forge in which resilience is shaped, purpose is clarified, and greatness is born. When you step into discomfort, whether it's starting a difficult conversation, launching a new venture, or committing to a rigorous fitness regimen, your brain lights up. Neuroscientists have shown that novel, challenging experiences stimulate neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Every time you confront fear, push past procrastination, or persist through fatigue, you aren't just getting through a moment. You're physically rewiring your mind for greater adaptability, creativity, and focus. This is where habits are forged not by repetition alone, but by repetition under resistance. A habit formed in comfort is fragile. A habit strengthened in challenge, like waking at 5:30 a.m. to write despite exhaustion or choosing integrity in the face of pressure, becomes unshakable. Discomfort doesn't break you, it builds you. To transform challenges into consistent growth, you need more than grit, you need a system. Enter the 5 R's, a practical framework for turning intention into transformation. Recognize, shift from autopilot to awareness. Notice your reactions, the tension in your shoulders before a presentation, the urge to scroll when overwhelmed. Recognition is the first act of courage. It's saying, I see this. I am here. Respond, replace reaction with intention. Instead of snapping in frustration, pause. Breathe. Choose your response. This space between stimulus and response, where Viktor Frankl found meaning in suffering, is where freedom resides. Refine, reflect on the outcome. What worked? What didn't? Was your communication clear? Did you honor your values? Use each experience as data, not judgment. Recommit, reinforce your purpose. Growth isn't linear. You'll falter. Recommit daily, not out of guilt, but out of love for the person you're becoming. Reinvent. As you evolve, so must your goals. The dream you had at May 25th not fit at 35. Growth demands reinvention. Shed old identities like a snake shedding skin, because you're not the same person you were yesterday. In a world engineered to scatter your attention, endless notifications, curated feeds, fragmented conversations, focus is the rarest superpower. But mastery isn't born from constant doing. It emerges from deep presence, fully inhabiting each moment, whether you're writing a report, listening to a friend, or washing the dishes. Cultivating awareness is the antidote to reactivity. Mindfulness isn't just sitting in silence. It's walking with intention, speaking with clarity, choosing actions aligned with your deepest values. When you operate from awareness, you stop living in your life and start leading it. Every myth, every epic tale follows the same arc. The hero leaves the ordinary world, faces trials, confronts darkness, and returns transformed. The journey isn't reserved for legends. You are already on it. The moment you decide to heal a relationship, build a business, or recover from failure, that's your call to adventure. The resistance you feel? That's the dragon guarding your potential. The long nights, the doubts, the setbacks? They are not signs to quit. They are initiation rites. And in this journey, you find what all heroes seek. Not glory, but meaning, a sense that your life matters. Purpose, a compass that guides your choices. And freedom, not from struggle, but the freedom to grow, to choose, to become. Forget the myth of overnight success. Mastery is not a finish line. It's the slow, steady application of small choices, showing up when you don't feel like it, learning from failure, celebrating progress over perfection. When you master your mornings, you master your momentum. When you master your attention, you master your time. When you master your emotions, you master your relationships. And when you apply mastery consistently, day after imperfect day, you shape the life you've always imagined. Not a life without pain, but one rich with depth. Not a life of endless comfort, but one of continuous growth. Not a passive existence, but a deliberate, mindful, meaningful becoming. Life isn't about avoiding storms. It's about learning to dance in the rain, gracefully, powerfully, on purpose. So embrace the challenge. Tap into the friction. Let discomfort be your teacher, your trainer, your truth teller. Because on the other side of every obstacle is not just survival, it's evolution. You are not just living. You are rising. You are the hero. And your story has only just begun. On behalf of the Positively Improved team, thank you for joining us today. We hope you take a little time each week to pause, reflect, and reconnect with yourself. Till next week, namaste.